Sleep apnea affects about 18 million people. Our own staff member Heather was having sleep issues and wanted to know if sleep apnea could be the culprit. Sleep specialist Dr. Raj Dasgupta lent a helping hand.
Hi Heather, I'm Dr. Raj. How are you doing?
Hi Dr. Raj, I'm good.
Rumor has it you have some sleep issues.
I have headaches all the time. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air because I can't breathe. I have to have water by my bedside all the time because I have a dry throat.
After getting your family history and your past medical history, you would be a great candidate for a sleep study. There are three main parts to it. Number one is going to be the effort belt. This is going to go around your waist. At the same time, we're going to have what's called a pulse oximetry. Why? Because I need to know what your oxygen is doing. It's going to go on your finger, and I might also learn about your heart rate at the same time. And the last part is going to be a nasal cannula. This is going to go over your head and in your nose. It's going to measure one thing, flow. So these three things make up our home sleep study. All right, let's get this started.
Heather and Dr. Raj join us today, and later we're going to find out the results of her sleep study. But first, our good friend and colleague, Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall, the Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer, is going to help us explain sleep apnea. Welcome.
Well, thank you. And this is such an important issue. Sleep apnea causes a person to have one or more pauses in breathing while they're asleep. It causes the body to go from deep sleep to light sleep. So you've got poor sleep quality.
And sleep apnea may cause a choking sound, snoring, or even a loud snort that can sound something like this. And look, it may sound a little funny, but this is truly no laughing matter because sleep apnea may also cause a headache when you wake up, dry mouth, sore throat, daytime fatigue, insomnia, and irritability. Heather, of course, had many of these symptoms. And Dr. Raj, what did you conclude, Doc?
You do have mild sleep apnea. We actually monitored position, and you had most of your obstructive apneas on your back.
Well, I'm very happy to have a diagnosis. Thank you so much for doing this for me.
And to talk about the two types of sleep apnea. So one is obstructive sleep apnea. That's the most common type. And essentially, an airway is narrowed or closed all the way. Now, this often happens in people who are overweight, but it can happen to anyone, even children, due to enlarged tonsils.
Central sleep apnea is less common. The area of the brain that controls breathing does not send correct signals to breathing muscles, which causes breathing to pause. The question is, who's at risk? Men more so than women, those with a family history or hypertension. If you're middle-aged and people who have a large neck size, all at risk.
A lot of times people who have sleep apnea don't know it because all of this is happening when you're asleep. So many times it's the partner that recognizes first one of the most important symptoms of sleep apnea, and we heard some of it earlier, snoring.
Sleep apnea can be dangerous if it's left untreated, and here's why. There's an increased risk of high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, obesity, diabetes, heart failure, or irregular heartbeats.
If you end up waking up consistently, not feeling rested after a full night's sleep, see your doctor. And keep a sleep diary, and then take that diary to your doctor when you go.
Luckily, there are a few ways to treat sleep apnea. One way is with a continuous positive airway pressure machine, much like this. This mask fits over your mouth and nose. The machine then blows air into the throat, which helps keep that airway open, which is so important. In mild cases like Heather's, a custom-fit mouthpiece may also be used, and in some instances, surgery may be necessary.
Now, there are other things that people who have sleep apnea can do that might be helpful. Lifestyle changes. So, for example, if you're overweight, to lose weight, to limit alcohol intake. If you smoke, stop. And then, of course, there's some changes in position that you can do for sleeping, and also some special pillows that might help prevent you from sleeping on your back. If folks want more information, they can go to gethealthystayhealthy.com, and there's also a downloadable sleep diary available there. And, of course, while they're there, they can also sign up for our monthly newsletter.
And as I mentioned, always so important to get the correct diagnosis. Dr. Raj, thank you for helping us out. Heather, glad that you now know. And Dr. Freda, always a pleasure. More to come, everyone.